Good morning, everyone, and welcome, Darren, and welcome everybody to our first live stream.
Good morning.
Good morning. I hope everybody's doing really well. We decided to move onto the live stream platform. We will be doing some couple of videos lately, and we figured, we might as well do the live stream. Makes it more fun, more interactive for everybody to hop in. We have a chat, so definitely say hi if you joined our live conversation. Today, we will be talking some more about successful networking in 2020 and how we do that. The way these live sessions are set up is that Darren and I just have a conversation, but the live aspect makes it possible for everybody to join in, ask questions. We will try to answer those as well. And we go from there. So basically, it's been more than 1.5 years ago, Darren, that we talked about this topic. We talked about it in our very, very first podcast as well. Our very first podcast is more than 1.5 years ago. And I listened to it, I must say, it was super weird to listen to it again, basically. And we've grown so much over that time, personally and also audio-wise. I mean, I don't know if you have listened to that podcast. Did you listen back to it?
No.
Okay, well, it was pretty funny to hear audio-wise. It was very bad, and basically we were very new to this thing. We're also new to this live stream thing, so please don't be too hard on us. But I think that will definitely be fine. So that was a little bit of a background. So today we will be talking about successful networking in 2020. We wanted to look back on what we thought then, or definitely on the way we look at it today, what we think about it today, and things that we learned over time. Well, first of all, networking in general, I think that we can be really honest to say that the situation is, with COVID-19, networking isn't the easiest thing. So definitely offline is much more difficult, but there are, these events are coming up with different solutions that makes it possible. I mean, that's something that doesn't go unnoticed. I hope everybody watching this live stream is feeling well and their families well as well. I just wanted to point that out, and I think Darren feels the same thing towards everybody.
Sure.
So first off, I think it's good. What is networking? And I believe that, almost every conversation falls into networking. I don't know the exact definition of networking, but when I think of networking, I believe just a general conversation with a person on the other end, and, networking / connecting with that person, talking about whatever it is that, you want to talk about. I think do you agree with that, Darren? So
yeah, absolutely. So the connection definition I think really works, especially when you're on LinkedIn, because it's all about let's connect with each other. So that word appears quite a lot. And it is just like you say, a friendly conversation, an introduction, getting to know your peers and other people out there with similar goals to what might be what you're trying to do, whether it's in your business or whether it's just the objective of why you're having a conversation with different people.
Yeah, true. So basically, I see it as like it falls in different categories. And please, if people think different about this, definitely just type it into the chat. We would love to hear your opinions or whatever your thoughts are, or just say hi that we know you're in the live stream, basically. I believe that it falls in different categories. So you have online, you have online versus offline, and paid and unpaid. That's the way I like to see it. So And I wanted to highlight a little bit more about that. So basically you have online, you have unpaid. Those are the social channels, I believe, most of it. There are a lot of websites as well, but that's one part of doing it. Then you have offline, the unpaid version is just events in general, or just, visiting with people. And then you have the online paid. So these network websites, these websites in which you can basically connect with people on a paid base, but also you have a lot of nowadays these lead generators. Basically, it sounds weird. Well, what are these lead generators? How can they potentially be fall under the category networking? Basically, I believe that it still falls under the category networking if you have a live chat incorporated. So basically, if you have these lead generators, maybe I need to call it more of an online bot, chat bot on your website. I believe that's a certain way of networking as well. And then the offline paid version is just networking groups. And basically, there might be some things that I forget to mention, but basically what I noticed over the time, back in 2018 when we did the podcast, I was talking a lot about, and we were talking a lot about Facebook groups and stuff like that, and LinkedIn. Me using LinkedIn a lot, still using LinkedIn a lot, and that was mostly unpaid stuff, And during that period of time, well, basically there are 2 years in between, and I must say that I tried multiple paid channels, and what I noticed was these paid channels don't necessarily work. And that's why I believe that, these paid channels, they might, for some people it might work, for some people it doesn't. But I think that the factor which decides if something is successful or not isn't so much if it's paid or unpaid, but I believe that it is consistency. Consistency in terms of you can reach out to people. So let's say, for example, like this. So nowadays, what I see on LinkedIn, I see a lot. There are a lot of people basically putting these messages out. I'm looking for work and stuff like that. And they just put one message out and then they expect things to happen. People to reach out to them. And that might potentially be. But what I believe that what it comes down to is, and that this has multiple layers, basically. So let's say what I wanted to say was the consistency part. Basically, you cannot just put a message once out there and then just expect things to happen. You need to do it on a consistent rate. You maybe want to post it multiple times, reach out to multiple times to people as well during the day and over a longer period of time. And that's the point in which things will become successful. So what I wanted to highlight was what I learned over the time was that offline and paid and unpaid doesn't really make a difference. What I learned over time was that consistency is the factor in which determines if you will be successful or not, basically. And that was one of the most important things. Listening to that. And then reflecting on all the stuff that I did, because I did many stuff, paid stuff. I invested quite some money into, these generators, these bots in itself. They might work, but what I found best working was unpaid social stuff, reaching out to people over and over, and not so much just. Sorry, I said, posting stuff over and over and reaching out to people over and over and over. Because I believe that, it's not a one-time rush. So as I said, it's consistency. So for every 20 warm leads of people that you reach out to or, that you get in contact to, that you network to, you might win 2 people. And that's one of the things, the biggest things that I found working so far, and that I think that a lot of people underestimate. So you don't have to do paid in any way. It is a way to get under the attention, But the best way to get in the attention of people and win projects is being consistent with getting yourself out there. Be in the playing field, be in the battlefield, if you want to call it like that. So that was one of the things that I found that was definitely noticeable and useful to people listening, I guess. And most of the people think, yeah, well, Marcel, I could have figured this out myself as well, but I mean, are you then getting the results that you're looking for? If so, yes, then good. If not, then this is interesting for you to look into, obviously, right?
I think there are benefits to some of the paid channels or paid groups. So when you talk about networking groups, you have to look at the other benefits that you might get with some of those groups. So some of the groups that I'm in, that they give you sort of other packages. So it could be benefits for your business, like legal help, health help, helplines.
Yeah.
So you get all of those other types of help as well. There's also sometimes opportunities that they can kind of promote you maybe via blogs or kind of big mailing lists. So in a newsletter, so if you've got a new service or a new product, you might be able to take advantage of that. So sometimes it isn't just about sales, depending on what your goal is.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's funny. You said it just now. You were talking about it like that. That was a stupid. I was kind of like really focused on the lead generation part. Obviously,
yeah. It's not a stupid assumption, because a lot of people do think it is about sales, and but it isn't necessarily just about sales. Sometimes you have to go into sort of people need to understand who you are and what you stand for, and that building relationships can take some time. And I think when I first started networking a few years ago, I think that was I went into networking thinking, right, I'm here to sell. But actually now I've learned probably after a year or so, it just isn't like that. It's people just don't buy straight away. It's not like you're buying something there and then, like going to the shop. It's people have to get to know you. It takes time. So it's really interesting. It's very different.
It's true. You're so right, actually. I mean, gosh, that's one thing that I heavily overlooked. The way I approach it was more lead generation, but basically networking. Successful networking doesn't mean lead generation, people. So that's the one thing that I learned today, or got refreshed about. So basically, networking isn't just lead generation. So it's also finding the right people to connect to. That will take or business further, or if you can help their business further. And further down the line, you hope that you can help each other out, be of use for one another. And if not, it's just, one thing that's funny, this networking thing, I'm 3 years in now. You're almost 3 years in now. I know for a fact, right? Yeah, we're kind of like on.
So we're about starting our fourth year. Or you may have already started your fourth year already. I start my
fourth
year.
Sorry, I'm 3 years in, so I'm started my fourth year. True story. Yeah. So we noticed that. I noticed that my part that I invested a lot of networking time into online, but offline. Zero. Well, basically not zero. I did some stuff, but basically I have to do it more and more and more. But you, on the other hand, you are you played in every field, right? So online, offline a lot. You're doing a lot of presentations as well, I know for a fact.
Yeah. So it's a form of networking, and especially now because of COVID, because we can't get together. So a lot of the the groups that we would have gone in person have now all moved online. So I do a lot of different webinars and presentations. I really enjoy them. Some of them are quite short, so maybe only about 10 minutes, and some are a little bit longer, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, different audience types. And I try to vary the subjects as well to make it more interesting, and that each of the people that attend the sessions, whether they're watching live or if they're watching afterwards, they've got something to take away that can really benefit their business or themselves. That's really important, because, like with this podcast, we're asking people to give up the time and listen. but there needs to be some sort of value for the listener to say, well, actually, that was either inspiring or it's going to help me on my journey, or
That's true.
that's a
And
really
that's the
good
thing.
point. Yeah.
So what are the benefits for online versus offline that you noticed? Because you also do a lot of online networking. So where do you see the benefits the most, or is it like even now, or do you even see that much? Is there any difference, or is it like, well, no, it doesn't really matter. Basically, I get online projects, I get offline projects. It sounds really weird, but just to clarify for everybody, online we mean networking through online channels, and offline we mean offline networking through channels. So the topic of today is, successful networking in 2020.
So if you're doing anything online, and certainly if it's video based, and as long as that video is going to be hosted somewhere, whether it's going to be on YouTube or on a blog page somewhere, then there's going to be a description, which will be description about either you or your business, and the topic that you're talking about. So if you're doing a webinar for a larger base of listeners and viewers, then first of all, you're going to get the benefit of exposure. So you personally and the business and the topic you're talking about. And then if you've been doing networking for a while, you might already know other partners. So you might want to be introducing their names. So you'll also get the benefit, because if you start talking about other products and services, reputable ones, then you can drop those people a line to say, oh, hey, I just mentioned you on a recent video. They'll like it. So that starts building up the, again, online network between the channel, the video, your website, your social media. You get the SEO benefits. You may not get sales directly, but after a period of time, that all starts layering up. So if you can try and do, say, 3 or 4 webinars or 3 or 4 presentations online per year, as long as that's stored somewhere, or you've got a good enough audience, you've put some call to actions, at the end, so where your channels are, where your website is, it will start to make a difference. But it is about being patient as well. If sales is your true and ultimate goal, then it will all start to layer, but it will just take a little bit of time to filter through. And it depends on the quality. Make sure you give really good quality presentation and answers. But yeah, definitely online is a fantastic way to go if you get the opportunity. But like you said at the very beginning, you have to put yourself out there. You have to go and do the work. You have to start talking to
over
people.
and over and over.
Yeah. It's not going to just turn up. People are not going to start, oh, would you like to do a presentation for us? Because they won't even know who you are. So you have to go out, stand for something, be unique, have some great, unique selling points about you or your business for you to stand out and just be helpful and approachable.
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about this yesterday or the day before that. Basically, the way to approach everything about, if you own a business or if you're just working for someone and you want to grow, you want to get somewhere, you need to look at it like this. And it gets really, how do you say it might be a weird way to explain it like this, but basically what it comes down to are the basics. And the basics are basically, let's say a bird or the nature itself, it needs to survive every single day, basically, right? So it isn't like that, birds can buy stuff, they just need to get the food somewhere, basically.
Where are you going with this?
Where I'm going with this. So basically what I'm trying to say is that, the way you need to approach business as well, it comes down to the basics. And the basics are that you need to fight, that you need to really want to get it, to obtain whatever you're trying to succeed. If it's just networking, trying to connect with interesting people, you have a goal in mind. You want to get inspired. You have to get it, and you have to get it every single day if you want to get inspired, or whatever you want every single day. If you want to grow towards something, then you need to get it every single day. You need to fight for it. And sometimes you feel tired. Well, yeah, then you can decide, okay, well, today I'm not doing it. That's fine. Well, I mean, in the end, it's all on yourself. So what I'm getting with that, example is that, the animals in the animal kingdom also fight every single day to get to that goal, to survive to the next day.
Right, yeah.
I think in the basics, it comes down to the same thing. You need to really want it to get it, and you need to work for it every single night, even when sometimes when you don't feel like it. If you want to achieve something and you need to break it down, what is it that I need to do to achieve that? Then you have to keep going at it every single day. So what I saw was a lot of people just reaching out on long. So are you okay? People reaching out on LinkedIn, posting this one-time thing like, hey, I need work. Oh, I got, it's very unfortunate for people that got hit by COVID-19, but I'm just trying to help those people with giving them the mindset, like you need to go at it. You cannot expect it to come to you. You need to go after it, and do that every single day. So in terms of networking, even if it's just trying to learn something new, like trying to get to know interesting people, trying to grow your offline network, or just get inspired, you need to really get it. So what I was, just to round it back up, Darren, you told, well, online and offline. I think it's also the repetition builds up a presence, and the presence is something that sticks. So that's something you have to keep in mind as well, because I think, well, it depends on, again, what your goals are, but, building that online presence, the beneficial thing of online is, maybe offline as well, because you can record offline as well. But, the main thing beneficial of online is, it's all recorded, it's all there. And, but that's something you can do for offline as well. So I think, what I was trying to get at a little bit more was like, hey, do you see benefits anywhere? But if I'm correct, you're saying, well, online is a very good tool. Also, the beneficial thing of online networking online is obviously that you can reach out to millions of people. It's still, it sounds super weird to say, well, it's amazing, but it is amazing. I work for people all over the world, and basically that's all through online. And to just give you an example, again, this is funny because I listened to the podcast and I heard myself saying, well, yeah, 2 years ago, I said, well, I'm using LinkedIn a lot. I'm using it for 9 months now. And so basically, I'm already actively spending 2 hours every single day on LinkedIn.
Wow.
And basically, still to today. And there are so many benefits of it. Just being there every single day, searching for it. That's one tip that I want to, that I think should be highlighted as well. Actively search instead of waiting for something.
I think we need to do this for another podcast again, because we did this, didn't we, a little while ago, where we talked about your LinkedIn formula, which kind of like works for you. You could sell this and be...
I should write a book about it. No, but basically, I think it's really interesting. It's just getting it. I'm going for it. I mean, what you can also do is just reach out to people, and you can wait for someone to realize, hey, I need this, or you can actively reach out to people, but that's kind of like cold calling, I guess, as well. You need to be something that you will feel comfortable to, but basically you need to go get it. The internet is so big. Yeah. There is.
Well, now you have to base yourself just in one part of the world anymore. We're starting to see a lot more people like moving around. So you really can, in most jobs now, you've got the option of working wherever you want. And if it's a career move that you want to do, kind of moving from a job where you want this freedom, it's so much easier now to be able to work freelance than you could maybe sort of 5-10 years ago. So you just got to get started. Just pick a discipline, showcase how well you're doing, and then start building your networks. Start talking to people. Start getting into groups, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, some of the local business networking groups around you online. Start talking to people, and then telling them why you're doing such a great job and why people should trust you. And that's just the start.
True. Yeah, it's true. I think, what the topic was, successful networking. And I mean, you can work for yourself, you can work in a business, you can do whatever kind of work. What it comes down to is that when successful networking, I believe that it comes down to be showcase that you're actively looking to connect with people and trying to bring value. That's also another really important thing, but actively trying to connect with people, because people can feel that. And that's, I think, the key to successful networking, showcasing that you really want it, showcasing that you have something of value to tell to them, or just, I mean, you don't always have to talk about yourself. It can also be very much that you're just trying to connect with people and think along. Networking is just chatting with people, helping them out. You know, that should be your mindset. You're going to help the person on the other end. It shouldn't be like, well, it should be light. You shouldn't go into a conversation. So, okay, what are your problems? Yeah, okay. Well, nobody will tell you that right away, obviously, but it's kind of like, you know, this relaxed way of just chatting with someone, getting to know someone, and then, you should be actively searching for it. I believe that's the most successful way in terms of, you know, getting inspired or stuff like that. But that makes sense, right? In terms of me, you just what's the successful way of networking? Is just getting out there and networking.
It is just and even if you don't think you're very good at it, you just learn it as you go along. You just pick it up as you go along. People will give you helpful tips and ask them for feedback and ask them for advice. Tell them what you want to get out. I think that's a really good tip, actually. In some of the groups, people will say who you are, where you're from, but tell them what you want. Be honest. I'm looking for, you know, customers like this, and then they'll tell you, oh, you're in the wrong group, or actually, oh, you need to go and speak to this person, or you need to go and work with these people here. And so
that's how networking goes.
Yes,
the connections.
Yep.
So definitely just go get it and get it out there. One of the things that, and don't sell yourself. Don't try to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Be in on, and don't play the game of, because I get this a lot on LinkedIn lately. Someone connects with me and they asked about me. I said, "Whoa, that's nice." They ask about me, and then I start telling and explaining them, and then it ends up they try. Oh well, I can help you with. I can do this, but you shouldn't be actively. I don't know, man. What do you think about that, Darren?
I think it's really difficult. I agree with some of the LinkedIn messages that they are either.
You feel it's really enforced. Like, well, I want to get to know you, and then you're thinking, oh, they're genuinely interested, and then like, well, what I can do for you is your SEO or your website. And I'm like, oh gosh, seriously, I spent time chatting with you. You know that it's heading towards that direction, and that's.
And have you received the ones where you get the messages, and then if you don't respond after a couple of days, they give you a reply, and then they give you a follow up, and then it starts getting really short and really snappy and a bit rude. And it's like,
I haven't had that.
Okay,
but okay, you had that situation then.
Yeah,
so,
I get a lot of those.
Yeah. Okay, so that's another tip. Please don't, you know, for the sake of it, just connect with people for genuine interest.
Yeah.
And showcase that you're actively searching for it, genuine interest, be an open book. And one tip, last tip maybe, and then let's just end this live stream for today.
Yeah.
And I do hope people enjoying everything so far and really picking up on the tips. The last tip that I wanted to give was like, well, it's not so much of a tip because we already talked about it, but basically what I found, this is the LinkedIn formula. What I found working was, now it comes down to the same thing. Basically, actively searching, obviously, but then like, this is less networking related, but more finding people that you could work with or that you can mean something for them, is Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, I don't know, Reddit. I don't know where people nowadays post all their needs or their requests. You can type in need motion graphic designer, need video animation, need someone to build my shed, need someone to cook me a pie, where can I buy pies, stuff like that. People ask questions on these social channels.
Yeah.
And you can search that. And I would highly suggest everybody listening, if you're actively looking for people are asking for recommendations, people are asking for help, or you can look at it like this. Someone says, this is a great example. This is what this company aspirin, oh no, aspirin is just a thing. There was a company that sells aspirin. I cannot remember the name. And what they did was kind of like actively doing a campaign, searching for people that posted on Twitter, I guess, was like, that they had a headache. They searched the term headache and looked at, people that posted their stuff basically, or looking for people that posted posts about this, saying that they have a headache or they're hangover or they're whatever. And then they actively, and that can be done with, people with a little bit more following, then you have a higher chance of, that it goes viral, something like that. The aspirin company actively reach out to them, send them, hey, well, I will send you this free package of stuff. They did build a message around it. I cannot remember it properly, but basically what they did, they responded on that. And that turned out to be something that went viral. So basically, think of it like this. You can find these requests. You can find these things. It doesn't have to be a question. It can also be people saying that they have a headache or they have something. Just think a little bit further, for a video animation, explainer video could be, well, I have a new company. Well, then it could potentially be interesting to look into the video animation stuff. You can, yay, I have a new company. Yay, I just registered myself. Something like that. Just wanted to say, think a little bit, think a step ahead, and then put that to use. And you can search inside of all of these social platforms, or just use Google, whatever, and then actively go search.
So that's your tip of the day. Go out there, guys, and start playing girls.
Just go for it. So we want to thank everybody for joining our live video session. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope it was any value to you. We would highly appreciate it if you subscribe to our social channels or not. When we go live, I don't know if you can put on a notification. If you like to see us again and want to hear us talk again, definitely do it. Just subscribe to our channels. We're on multiple platforms. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We are on Spotify. We're on YouTube.
Apple Podcasts.
I already said that.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Apple Podcasts. Google Podcasts. So we'll be putting the audio up from this stream up onto the podcast. So, if you're listening to this on the audio, then do check us out on YouTube and Twitter as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks everybody again. Again, we hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to tell your friends. If you have any comments, questions, or whatever you want to share with us, you can always let us know. And we will talk to you next time.
Take care. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.